My name is Lucy. I've been here in Las Cruces since 2006, and I'm proud to say I've been at Peace Lutheran since 2006.
My name is Glenn Keene. I have lived in Las Cruces for 52 years. I've been a member of Peace Lutheran Church, though, for the last 6 years.
So I'm Dave Owens. I arrived here in 2018 after my husband and I retired.
I'd like to speak to a number of topics that have kept my family and me here in Las Cruces all this time. The economy is by and large recession-proof because the bulk of the income of people who live here comes from programs that are always funded: education, defense contracting, government payrolls. And those activities have to take place all the time.
I had to leave California because it's really expensive there, and I took a road trip to New Mexico. I stayed for a week, and I fell in love.
Las Cruces environs, even though it's in a valley, the mean elevation of the city is 4,800 feet. We're almost a mile-high city. That is a high Sonoran desert, so we don't get the intense heat of other places in the southwest.
Just like crystal clear, perfect 99% of the time.
And we have 11 months of just beautiful weather. It doesn't tend to get too cold. You know, the heat is a thing, but that's of course going to be expected in the desert southwest. But with it comes a lot of benefits as well, in that if you're a gardener, you have a lot of days of sunshine. So your growing season is extremely long.
Autumn, winter, spring are just fabulous, especially if you're inclined to be outdoors.
We also have a lot of hiking trails that are relatively close. So my name is Timothy Seibert. I've been a member of Peace since 1989. I've lived in Las Cruces since 1989.
There's a lot in the national news about how in achievement of its students we rank second from the bottom, but this has reasons for being that way. 65% of the students in the public school system are Latinos, and they live in homes where Spanish is spoken predominantly or entirely, and then they're put into a public school system that demands proficiency in English. My daughter went to one of the main ones, Las Cruces High School. They did everything for her that I could have ever expected of a public high school.
I'm Ellen Young. I have been here about 18 years now.
The allure of Peace Lutheran is that even with change, we continue to find ways to expand our outreach and hospitality to the community.
During the transition process this past year, many of our members worked together to create a new mission statement. We agreed on these words: we are called to be an inclusive community, sharing God's grace through worship, service, and hospitality.
Well, what drew me to Peace is I came one Sunday with my two girls, and that day it was unbelievable. I felt so welcome, and it's almost like I lived here all my life.
We want folks to feel that they can come and join us in Sunday service, or if there's a need that we can possibly help with, we will try.
We have the monthly food pantry where we serve 75 to 100 families each month who are food insecure, and load into their cars their share of about 3 tons of food.
Years ago, we had a group that started here and has since moved on. It's outgrown our congregation, called Jardín de los Niños, which helps with children who are experiencing homelessness. Since then, we've had another group that has started from here, and they're getting ready to actually do the same thing as Jardín, and that is the Border Servant Corps. So if there's a need in Mexico, or if a need in one of the colonias around here, they would go and help out, and the congregation helps.
Peace Lutheran Church became a Reconciling in Christ congregation in 2007. Revising our welcome statement was not without controversy. Some members asked, does it all mean all? We've come to understand that those who have been excluded may not trust that all. Now, we affirm weekly that we of Peace Lutheran Church welcome all people to full participation in the life of the church, regardless of race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression.
Community events and offerings, other things that make it a nice place for families. Twice a week, we have a farmer's market. We have 3 major parks for people who like to ski. You're 2.5 hours away from Sierra Blanca. We're 10 miles from multiple mountain trails that you can hike on. NMSU, is New Mexico State University, is very generous with opening up many of their facilities to the public. The city has 4 aquatic centers. They have pickleball courts, tennis courts. They have 6 after-school programs for children. They have 7 art and theater programs for adults and children. You know, the kinds of things that people like to do with their recreational time. Those kinds of facilities are here.
It was 50 years ago that I lived here. To some extent, you didn't know what to expect. Some things don't change, like the beauty of the scenery. We just have stunning mountain views in the desert, so I expected those, but I didn't really expect that there would be like a vibrant theater scene, which there is, or that the church would have such an accomplished music program, which they do.
Music is particularly important for our worship. Our handbell choir adds to worship once a month or so. And we have a very talented organist choir director who plays on an organ that combines electronic and actual pipes. She brings in outside musicians often, and she supervises music scholars from New Mexico State University who help to augment the otherwise volunteer choir. The other thing we've accomplished is to have a really nice sound and video system in the sanctuary.
If you look in the sanctuary and you see the communion table and the altar pieces, the flower stands, those are handmade, not something you order from church furniture or us. They came from the heart. Another thing about the sanctuary that really appeals to me is the stained glass. Here, our modern church calls for a modern glass design. So you see the grape and the grain and the white doves of the Spirit symbolized.
This is generally an environment, both outside in the city and in the church, of acceptance to live together in peace. And I think we do a pretty good job of it.
That's something I would hope would be alluring to a pastor, is they can come and expand our mission and grow with us, and we can grow with them. And, you know, I just feel like we have a lot to offer.